everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Tuesday 10. So Tuesday 10, for those of you who are new here, is a day where I use 10 things from my box of papers and ephemera and random bits that I keep in this collection basket on the back of my desk. And so yeah, let's jump in and make some ephemera with these 10 things. So today I have an old book spine, Francois Villon. And yeah, I'm going to do something with it. I have this ugly piece of scrapbook paper that was left over from something. It looks like floor tile. I have this page from a little art book that has Pierre-Paul Proudhon, the Empress Josephine on it, and on back something I'm not going to use. Then this is this adorable image of a tortoise from a book, I believe, called The Lovables or The Unlovables. I can't remember. This is from an old, like, 1950s children's book, and it's this little dog and these beautiful trees, and a little jelly print on some scrapbook paper. This is a Beam Paints envelope that I got with some watercolor paints that I received from Beam Paints. So I want to do something with that today. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those more arduous projects, but we'll see. I have kind of an idea for it, but just pull this stuff off of it. And I have a book page from a book called The Cuckoo's Haiku, and it has the chimney swift on this side, and then some kingfisher watercolor type images, and then a little surrealist picture, probably, I don't know if this is a dolly or not. On both sides it has a different picture. I think I'll use this, I don't know, this one. It's not as haunting as this one, so I'll probably use this one. And then I have a page from a Daphne's Diary magazine about having a cup of tea, and then on back some advertising type stuff. And yeah, okay, so it's probably time to get started now. Okay, what to begin with today? I think I want to start with these teacups and this. And I'm trying to remember that this always goes smoother when I can use things together. So I'm going to just open up this folded piece of paper, and I want to use these teacups. I have a project kind of in mind for them, and I think what I want to make is like maybe a tuck spot with them. So I'm just going to cut around them in a bit of a free-form pattern. There we go. Then I'm going to glue them right on there. So today is my day after having my show yesterday, which went amazingly. Had a really great day. It was nice to see people, and yeah, I have to put everything away today, which I'm not really looking forward to, but that's part of the process, right? Let's see if I can fold this back. No, it's not going to be big enough. Okay, that can go. I do think I would like to give this a little more heft, so what I'm going to do actually is to just glue it down here. Onto my glue book paper. There we go. So then it's a little heavier to be used as like a pocket tuck spot type piece. And then I'm just going to leave a little bit of border, because I feel like this is kind of tea colored. So we'll just leave a little border of this, and no one will ever know that it was this ugly piece of paper with like floor tile. So then we need ink, and where have I put my ink? I was reorganizing, I use that term loosely, my desk, and I Everything is kind of in the wrong place right now, but that's okay. I just want to get a little ink onto the edge of the teacup image, just to make the whole thing a little more cohesive. And I think with this one, I'm not even going to stitch. Usually I stitch around everything, but this one, I like the freeform shape of it. I think it'll be perfect. So that one I will call done. Now, if I look at this page, is there anything else I would like to use from it? Yes, I'm going to cut out a few things to just put in my little scraplet space that I keep next to me when I need little bits for collage. Take that rose. Could take this fork, maybe. These two little houses. Sometimes it's good to have little bits like this to use in your collages. I think what I'll do with this is I'm just going to tear into the fork. There. Okay. And then maybe this little bit here. Okay. That's done. Now, maybe I will work with this old book spine. So, first I need to make it like some kind of a thicker, let me just turn off my motion sensor at my door. Okay. I need it to be a little bit thicker than what it is. And do I want to use this as, yeah, I might put a ruffle in it. No, I'll leave it that way. Okay. So I just need some scrap paper. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on. I'm going to end up stitching this whole thing after I'm finished with it. So I'm just going to use glue stick. Oops, I thought I snoozed that. Oh, this phone can be ever so annoying at times. Okay, let's turn this off for 2 hours. There we go. All right. No one sneak up on me in the next 2 hours. There we are. Just glue that down. Done. Just glue this down too so that the whole thing kind of lays down. And then we can add some bits and bobs to this. And I think actually I'm going to end up using that little rose cutout that I had from that magazine page right here. I'm just going to make this kind of like a snippet type piece, I think. Just want to keep intact the title, some of the title, so that it's clear that it's a book spine. And I'm just grabbing little bits from my little scraps that I keep. This is why I keep little scraps like this. So I have things that I've stamped on, or little dyed bits, things like that, to just add a bit of interest on surfaces like this. Okay, and then let me pull my other little junky bin from over here. Okay. And then maybe a little bit of washi tape. Actually, not this one, this one. Hold on. I have this one over here that has like recipe text on it, and I think that would be good. Okay, so the whole idea with this will be when I get to the stitching stage, I'm going to stitch around the edge here and then I'm going to trim the excess off. So for now, let's say we're finished with this, okay? And we'll come back to it. And now things are going to get a little tougher because I've got to get into the other stuff here. So I actually think I know what I want to do with this, so I'll go with this one next. And today may not be too complicated of a day. I sort of feel like when I look at everything, I know what I'm wanting to do. But that being said, one of these projects might take a little bit longer. I want to try to keep a little bit of that. Okay. So I think for this one, I'm just going to thicken it up on a couple of book pages so that I can use it as a bottom pocket tuck spot. I just really love this tortoise. I think he was so cute. So let's plunk him on here. Then I will glue a couple of these pages together because they're quite thin. But I do like to use up these book pages in this way. And I will stitch around this. So, turtle friend. Okay. Then this. Okay. Maybe let's try to use a couple things together again. So this jelly print, what size would I want it to be if it were ephemera? Probably about there for a journal card. So let's take that and put this in my scraps. And then I love this this bird, and I love this little bit down here of watercolor. So I think I will use this side of the page. I'm just going to sort of fussy cut roughly around this bit of watercolor here. Pop that aside. And then we will do the same with our bird. I know I'm not going to be able to use this whole bird. Okay. Alright, so yeah, I think I'll start by getting these two pieces on here. Then, let me see, this one here. Yeah, okay. I'm going to use art glitter glue for this because it's a little bit of a heavier book page. Okay. So yesterday's show was the first time they've ever done this particular fiber festival that I went to. The organizers were amazing. They were so nice. Everyone was really cool. All of the other vendors that I talked to that were close to me were really nice. The nicest thing was at the end of the day, we were in, it's a building in Hamilton, Ontario, and it's called the Cotton Factory, because that's what it used to be at one point. It's this huge, like, industrial warehouse. Hamilton's a very industrial kind of city. They have a lot of things, like, they've got, like, unfortunately, coal, oil industry, a lot of industry, and it's too bad. I mean, it's not too bad. That's how people make a living, but like it's complicated, right? In this changing world. I love the city. It has so much cool art, like artists and creative people and organizations, and like it's just a lot of fun to be there. There's also an inordinate number of amazing restaurants and like small like mom and pop shop type businesses of all sorts. Restaurants, like there's a whole strip of amazing antique galleries and art galleries, awesome thrift stores. They've got a really big waterfront, but the problem is that it's unfortunately like mostly handled as an industrial port. They've got like a steel refinery, an oil refinery, a coal refinery, everything bad. They have all of it there. Chemicals. So I don't know how many times throughout the day I was like, ugh, what does that smell? Like when we were there the day before, we took like a day to just kind of like, the day before we did the setup, and we just kind of hung around and played around in the city on Saturday, which was nice. Because we do go there from time to time, because we do enjoy shopping there and hanging out in some of the parks. And they have a really nice graveyard, which, if you know me, that's one of my things that I do, is walk in big graveyards. And I've always enjoyed that. It's a beautiful place. So yeah, I would honestly consider moving there if the air quality wasn't so bad, but it's just, I have asthma, like not really bad, not since I was a kid, but hasn't been very bad, but I think it would get bad there. I definitely, spring is here, so I'm getting a little bit of allergies, and I think they're very aggravated right now. I probably sound a little nasally, but being in the pollution, the little bit more pollution did not help at all. But I don't know. My friend is living there now, and she said, like, you know, she has a studio there. Things are so affordable. It's great. But like, you know, she has had to up her medication for her asthma, she said, and, you know, that's kind of the drawback of living there, unfortunately. But like, everything else is awesome. So I was like, yeah, you know, she's like, you could have a studio here, and like, I totally would love that. I mean, I would love to have an industrial loft type studio. I've definitely always kind of romanticized that. I think it's a good place to have, like, to feel very inspired. I went from thinking, you know, I used to be part of a few different guilds and working outside of my home in a studio specifically designed for, you know, creative working. And now I'm working from my studio inside my home. And I just think, like, both have their benefits and drawbacks. Like, but I would love to have, like, I mean, my ultimate goal is we want to buy a home with acreage and have a studio that's outside of the home on site, and maybe a little bit of a retail space, or a gallery space, and some other things. But right now it's a little challenging. I've got a few things to overcome before I can get there, and we're starting to do some more, I'd say, some planning that's going to get us a little bit further than we have been for a while. It's honestly just been a bit difficult with having, you know, 2 little kids, being in a pandemic, trying to take care of, you know, our jobs and our lives. And the housing market is terrifying. Like, as much as I'm happy I can sell my house for far more than ever, I also feel a little bit lost with that. Like, I feel, number one, sell my house and then buy, you know, where we want to go. Probably we could end up being, you know, in a good position, because like, we're thinking about going somewhere more rural and probably even out of province. But you know, you could never afford to get back in, really, likely, if you do that, unless you just invest your money well. And it's hard to say what's going to happen in the market, so it's a lot to think about. And then also, like, just the idea of being another cog in the machine of, like, selling things at way too high a price to people who are, you know, typically foreign investors or people who already own multiple properties. So, like, it still just leaves in the lurch people who, you know, were like, just like me a few years ago, like, that, you know, now they can't afford a house. Like, I feel like I'm so lucky that I bought a house when I did, because I think now, if I were in the position that I were in at the time that we were looking to buy a house, I was making a lot less money than I am now at my job, you know, because I wasn't a senior partner at my job. But now it's like, I don't know how people are supposed to find housing that's affordable. I was talking to a friend yesterday who's been for months looking for a place to rent because she was living with some family that, you know, they had a business agreement to operate this house kind of and be landlords and live there, and then they would rent out certain parts of it, and they did that for a while, but now the family want to get rid of the house and sell it off, and so it left them searching for a place to live, and they've been looking for months. And she was telling me things like, you know, the people out there that are renting to potential renters are not acting in the nicest way, first of all, but secondly, if you have any challenges at all, you're going to find it very difficult to rent like a house if you have pets. Apparently some people are even saying no children, which is definitely illegal. I mean, you're not even allowed really to say that no pets unless you know, like, you're allowed to say that, but if someone gets pets while they're renting from you, there's not a whole lot you can do unless you have someone with like that's renting in the same space and they have shared ventilation and you know, they're allergic. Like, it's actually really the only way to... I understand why people don't want pets and stuff, but to be completely honest, my parents have been supers for many years, like a long time, as long as I've been alive. And the experience of managing like tenant type, you know, getting tenants it's challenging, but not even necessarily like in the way that a lot of people think. It's not always just the people who like have pets, or, you know, you think people are gonna have wild parties. That's not even the saddest truth to it. Like, I say this with a lot of sensitivity, but the biggest problem that I've seen is actually, unfortunately, older men typically who get in a position where they don't have anyone and they can't really take very good care of themselves. So I think a lot of people think it's sound to rent to someone like who's, you know, an employed adult single person. They're probably not going to have a lot of parties. They're not going to cause a ruckus. But then what happens is that they kind of can lose control of things easily, and they don't have any help. And so my parents for many years have kind of found themselves in a position of being like, I don't know the word, like almost like caregivers to people like this, like who just, they need help, and I think my parents know that, and like they just feel like, well, what would happen to these people if we were to just tell them they couldn't stay here, you know? And it's challenging. It really is. And we have a major problem in, I'd say, all of North America with how we care for elderly and indigent people, and people who just need more help. And yeah, that's me with the rosy topics again today. Sorry about that, guys, but it's important stuff, you know. I'm just making, I'm making this into just a tall journal card. This one I finished up, I'll be stitching around everything, and I'll do a summary as always. As you know, this is the Make Along, Gab Along with Me. I'm thinking I want to use this in some way, but I don't want to lose all of that cool pattern. What to do? I mean, I could tear. Let's try something. Okay. But yeah, it's challenging. So anyways, she was talking about she finally got a place, and it took, you know, months, and, you know, they had to... So she used to have a business, and unfortunately just before the pandemic she had to close it, and so she had some issues, you know, with, like, when you close down your business, you clearly have some financial woes to deal with at the time, right? So she's dealing with those, and that made her credit a little more unstable. And so they found this place that they're going to be moving into, and the rent, which this just makes me ill to say it out loud, was posted at $17.90 per month. This is not in a major city at all, by the way. And so they agreed because, like, you know, they have cats, and I guess that's really challenging to find a place that will allow cats. So they agreed, but then what ended up happening was there were other people interested in the apartment, and then there was a bidding war on renting, not buying, renting. So it got up to now 1900. And then, you know, they were kind of in panic mode because, like, they don't have a whole lot of time left. They need to get out of where they are. And so they ended up calling their parents to say, like, you know, what can we do? Like, how, like, do you have any idea here? So their parents were very kind and offered to lend them a significant amount of money to just pay the rent up front, so that will be just done and done, right? And then they'll sort it out later. So, like, they paid probably a year's worth of rent up front, and that's what got them the place. And I was like, ugh, you know, this makes me so sick because honestly, that year's worth of rent is a down payment on a home. You know, or, well, it would have been before the housing market went crazy. You know, now they would have to move to a smaller place if they wanted to use that amount of money as a down payment on a home. And I don't know. I just think something's got to give, because I don't know, like, what the future is going to look like for people. And yeah, it's stressful to think about, especially having kids. I mean, I have kind of a plan in mind for my kids to try to, like, prepare their futures a little bit. So I'm not super worried. I'm a little worried because you never know what can happen. But yeah, I'm not really sure how this is all going to continue in this unsustainable way, because I mean, I feel like every time I go to the grocery store, I'm unhappy. Every time I try to do a lot of things, I just feel really unhappy about how hard it's become. And yeah, I think that the people who live on the poverty line, that number is going to be going, like, up, up, up. And it doesn't mean that you make, you know, $30,000 a year. It means that you make $100,000 a year and you're still on the poverty line. And that is terrifying. So, all of that being said, you know, I hope it all changes and that we start to see some normalcy again in the market. All right. So now we've got this, which is cool. I want to put maybe, what kind of shape do I want this to have? Maybe I will bring this off as well. Just trim that a little more. I still think it's maybe a little wide. Let's get rid of just a little more. I'm so attached to this jelly print for some reason. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so let's just glue the back of this up again. I'm gonna fold this paper and pop it on here. Okay. And then add a little more glue here. Again, I'll be stitching, so I'm not gluing it super gluey or anything. Actually, I'm not going to use scissors. I'm going to tear. Hard to tear through this many layers of paper. There we go. Okay. Then I need ink. Just gonna grunge up this whole thing a bit. Okay, now I think we need some word snippets to just tell a little story of some kind. Maybe even a poem would be nice. Yeah, let's see. From my book of sad poems, or mostly, my book of mostly sad poems. This is Gerard Manley Hopkins, his mostly sad poems, but some of his verses are just beautiful. That's about spring. Let's see if we can find something like, hey, there's the caged skylark. That would go good with the skylark, but like, you know what? We can use this. Let's grab it. On the back, the caged skylark. As the dare gale skylark scanted in a dull cage, man's mounting spirit in his bone house, mean house dwells. That bird beyond the remembering his free fells, this is drudgery, day laboring out life's age. See what I mean? He's very sad about everything all the time. Not the sweet fowl song fowl needs to rest. It's literally just all way too sad. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use sorry for the stitch, I had to change batteries. Yeah, I'm just going to use just the caged skylark. And I'm going to just glue that on to the back of this journal card about skylark. A chimney swift, rather. Okay, moving on. Now we need to find something. Okay, why is my phone being so loud? There we go. Okay, I like this one, I think. Hurrahing in harvest. Summer ends now barbarous in beauty. The stooks arise, around, up above. What wind walks, what lovely behavior of silk-sack clouds has wilder, wilful, wavier, meal drift molded ever and melted across skies. I walk, I lift up heart, eyes, down all that glory in the heavens to glean our Savior. Okay, now, I don't want the... I'm going to go with just this first verse here. Because it's not, like, super sad, and it's also about the sky. And I think that this image here kind of is sort of sky, like I can see the sky in it. So yeah, let's just glue this poem right here. And that is kind of an interesting piece. Very eclectic and fun. So that one's done. Now we have this and we have this. And I think I want to use them together. So I'm going to just cut this out. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll put that there. Oops. That's okay. Let's leave that bit of book page right like that. And then actually, what I might do is something that I like doing anyhow, which is using little bits of book page to collage. So that was just a happy little accident of glue, and it will help me along with my theme here. Just this brittle old book. Okay. then I think I will trim that. And I might grab some kind of a word snippet or something. Let me see. Let's just put some right here. Sit and Sing by Spring. There's some nice old cello tape, but I won't use it there. Seasons of the Year. Hustle and Hullabaloo. Any of these relics. I like that. So we'll take that and just plunk it right on the edge of the two pieces of paper. Then I'll do a little bit of inking on top of the paper and on the background. Okay. Put all these words back into the word bucket. There we go. Now the tough one, that envelope. So what I think I want to do with it, because it's like a heavier card kind of envelope, I'm thinking of maybe doing a fun collage on top of it. And then what I would use it for would actually be like a pocket on the outer side of a book, like either on a cover or even on a back cover, because sometimes it's nice to have a little tuck spot on the back outside of a book. So let me just get this cut out. And then we will move on to that one. Okay. So here is the envelope. So here's the back with the flap. And it's a nice heavy envelope. So that's why I think it would be good for this. I may even want to cover this in fabric. You know what? I really do. So let me see what fabric I have that I want to cover it in. Because originally I was thinking, like, one thing I'd like to put on it would be like a Tim Holtz doll. Like, let me see where my people are. Here they are. Hold on, give me 1 minute. Sorry, my shelf is a little precarious because this book is so big and everything else on my shelf is like small. So the whole keeping it together on that shelf is like predicated on this thing. So this one has come unglued somehow. This wasn't the best solution for these. I felt like it was at the time, but lesson has been learned. These photo pockets don't like to stay glued down. So I like these ladies, these larger people. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with them. Why keep looking when you found something that works? Yeah, I'm going to have to come up with a better solution for that later. Let's put it back in its precarious place. Okay. So this is what I think I want to have as the focal point on here. Now, in terms of fabrics, it would be a lot easier to just cover this with paper, you know. But you know me, I'm overly complicated. I need to do things in a way that's super complicated. So I won't be able to stitch on this whole thing. I can only stitch around the edge. So that being said, I'm going to liberally add this glue. This is just glue stick, but it actually holds fabric really, really well. Then I'm also, as just a backup measure, going to add a little bit of Fabri-Tac. My Fabri-Tac bottle is being a little, oh no, there we go. Okay. It's going to go around the edges. I don't want to use a ton of Fabri-Tac though, because it soaks through fabric too easily. Okay. Then I need my smoothing card. Excuse me. As I mentioned, allergies. Ugh. It was so tough yesterday not to sneeze, and like I didn't want to be one of those people who's like in public sneezing and so excuse me. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. Now this fabric. That's awesome. That's so perfect. And then I need to find something above. I did not do any pre-planning, so I need to hurry it up here before my glue dries. Will that fit all the way across? No. I want it to go all the way across in this strip. Oh, I've got some indigo. That's perfect. Oh, I do hate to use this though. It's my favorite fabric. All my indigo dyeing, but that's okay. All right, so now we'll go to the back here, grab my fabric scissors and just trim off the excess fabric. And then, yeah, I'm not going to need the top here because I don't want it over the flap. Or maybe I do. Oh, too late now. Let me see. I think I actually did want it over the flap. That's okay. We can do something a little different. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to clean this up after I stitch around. Okay, so you know, that's okay that I did that. Why? Because now I can use some lace on the top, and I think this lace would be nice right up here. Yeah. So now I'll just put some more Fabri-Tac on here. Whoops. Maybe taking the pin out would help me get that accomplished faster. And the reason I do want the flap to be out is because it's going to actually be open when I put it on the, this will be on the journal, on the back of the journal, and that'll be glued down. So these little snips. Just go back and grab these last little bits if I can. Okay. All this excess fabric out of here. Yeah, that's cute. Now I need something else, I think. I have this. Let me look in my scraps here. Hold on. thinking about like a round element like this. Maybe some of these botanical drawings. So yeah, a round element would be kind of cool up here, but it can't be this color. I need some kind of yellow, maybe. I should probably put some more glitter glue on that. It's a cardstock. You need the right glue for the right job. Okay. Then smooth that a little bit. I'm thinking this could be kind of like moonish. They could stand here, and then yeah, something like that. Okay, let's start to glue that down. Actually, I'll use Fabri-Tac because this is fabric I'm gluing to. Oh, this pin. I need to put a little magnet on like I did on this bottle so I can hold my pin in place. Okay. Is that how we had that? Yeah, okay. I think I'll put the moon down now, then I can just place the others. It's got to go up a little. Actually, I think that's got to go up considerably, right there. Yeah, okay. That's what we want. That's like that. This is a little different than I originally laid it out, but that's okay. I might need a few more elements to be finally happy with this, but that's okay because I have kind of an idea of what that will involve. I need to pop these little bits out here. There we go. Now we can glue them down. Yeah, right there. Okay, now a little bit of old cheesecloth from the book spine of an old book. Oops. It's a little too thick, I think. Just looking for bits and bobs that I might want to use here. Not that. No. Maybe some of this right here. Yeah. This is the top tail end of a book cover signature, like the tails that you put at the top and bottom of a signature. Your signatures when you're stitching them in. If you want like a neat tail, you would see these in a lot of old books. I do really like this, but I think it's maybe too thick. Let's see if I can pull that off. Maybe just add a little piece of it. It's like a layer of glue in there in the stitches. There we go. There's just like this bit of cardboard. I'm just going to get my fingernail underneath there. Okay, that's a lot thinner. So that could go here, or it could go here. I'm thinking down at the bottom. There we go. This is a piece of seam from an old dress, and I think I'll put it at the top. It's from like a vintage 1950s dress that my daughter used to wear, but it doesn't fit anymore. And it was kind of falling apart, so now it has become junk journal fodder. Okay. And then I'm going to add one more little element here. If I can find my, there it is, my bulb pins. This is just hanging around on my desk, so it's going to get used. It's just a little bead, and I think I will put it through maybe the lace, the fabric up here. Actually, should I stitch first? Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm going to go do all the stitching, and then I'm going to come back, show you the final review of everything, and we will be almost finished. Okay, we are all done with the stitching. So I have a few more things to do. I'm just going to do it with you. So this one was already done. We didn't have to do anything to it. This one I stitched around, and I just clipped this bulb pin right through that little bit that I added there, and I'm going to leave the strings on this. So what I was thinking is I would affix this to the back of a journal cover, and it would be a great little pocket. It could also go on the inside of a journal cover, or it could even be the front of a journal, because it's actually quite thick, and you could just cover this bit right here. You could cover that with paper. You'd have a natural pocket there, and you could add another pocket and then add a spine, and that would be a really fun way to create a cover. So I think I actually might do that. I think this would be a really fun cover to create a story about these girls. So then we have the turtle pocket, the tortoise. I just stitched around it. So now to finish it, all I have to do is just trim around the outline of the image. There we go, and that's a little tuck spot there. And then this is why I didn't do everything ahead of time, because I wanted to show you what I did with this one. So I stitched around. Now what I'm going to do is just follow the line of the spine, and we'll have like a nice bookmark or belly band, whatever you prefer. And it's a fun collaged little spine. So even when you're not using the old book spines, because maybe they're too small for the journal that you're making, which is the case of this one for me. I'm using the book covers, but this spine was too small. You can do something fun like this with it. This one I finished stitching around. Then this I just stitched around. This is a really simple little piece, but it's just a cute little vintage book image. This one, when I stitched around it, I decided I wanted to add like a little bit of old book spine to the side, so it could be like a pull for it going into a pocket. This will of course limit it to have to go in this direction, but that's fine. And then this one, I stitched around it, and I added a little bit of lace at the top to just add something a little extra. So how many pieces did we make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces out of 10 things from my scrap bin. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you to the new subscribers. We're getting so close to 1,000. I'm so excited. I'm planning a pretty fun giveaway when we get there, a little bit after we get there. So, you know, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. It would be lovely to have you here in this community. And for now, have a great day. Bye-bye.